Alright guys, so today we're doing a bit of a different video. We're doing a bit of a software video. And just so you guys know, I hurt my wrist the other day, which is why I'm kind of holding it funny just in case. So this is a good reason for me to do a video like this because I don't need necessarily to use this. Anyways, this is a piece of software that the company reached out to me because I had done a video a year or two ago, I believe, in regards to another AI based, it was an image upriser and video upriser. So they wanted us to take a look at theirs, so I downloaded it, and we're gonna go over what the software is like, and of course some of the features, how long it takes to actually do the uprising, and see what you guys think. All right, so the software in question is AVCLabs Video Enhancer AI. And this is it here, and you'll see that it does take a little bit of time for it to start up as it initializes and kind of sets itself up for your computer. Now, mine was pretty fast, but the very first time you do it, it does take a little bit of time. The other thing is I'm doing this on an Apple M1 MacBook Pro. I did reach out to them to see if it would be better to run it on my iMac, which is Intel based, because I wanted to see which one would be faster. And they were like, no, put it on the M1. It should be the better of the two. So that's what I'm doing. So first and foremost, when it starts up here, this is kind of it. You don't have a lot of options. Show log file, edit, Windows. You have some help. You can open the website. So if you come to the website, for instance, you will be able to, and I'll just kind of move this across here so you guys can see it. Video Enhancer AI, try it for free. You have a photo enhancer as well, so if you're into doing photo enhancements. But if you come to buy now, for instance, just so you guys can see the price, this is one of those pieces of software that you can kind of do monthly, I guess it is, or yearly. So if you have a project that you're working on and you're like, no, I just kind of have a couple clips that I have to run this through, you could just kind of incorporate the monthly fee and do all the projects I believe you want during that time, and then just cancel the membership or whatever, and then when you need it again, do it again. So you actually see right now, this is the photo one, so you can see it's $20 a month, but they have the $40 a month for the video enhancer. So again, if you are doing like a commercial product or something like that, you could just drop $40, kind of include that into your pricing, and you should be okay. They do though have different ones, so they have the ability to kind of buy it outright. I can't remember where it was. Here it is. Yeah, $39.95 for 1 month. $119.95. This is US dollars, of course, for the year. Or if you're just like, do it, forget it, I'll use this a lot, etc., then you can spend $300 and you got it for life. So a couple of options right there, and they all have some different things as well, as like 5-day money back guarantee, 5-day, 30-day money back guarantee. They are all single license, which is why I was like, which machine should I put it on? Free updates. So for life if you get this one, so that's kind of cool. And again, they have the photo version as well, so if you guys are interested in the doing some photo uprising, that is something that you can do. But anyways, here it is here, and basically what I wanted to show you is I've gone through and done a bit of this already. The results are actually pretty good. I've actually been really impressed with it, especially when you look at it in its kind of full screen, but I wanted to show you how it works, and then of course show you some of the results. So the first one that we'll show you is probably something that a lot of us would look at when we started, something like really old footage, so like 640 by 480. And I have an old, it's not a fancy clip, so all we gotta do is drag it in here. And this is it. This is my garage. This is I believe this is actually from like a webcam or something like that. So 640. You see it's using the AI upscaler. You can do a face blur if you want. So if it's something that you're just running through and want to do a face blur, you can, but we're doing an upscaler. You have the ability to upscale, denoise, face and refinement. So we'll show you face refinement later because it does do some like smoothing in that on the skin if you want to kind of do it, even if you're doing it during the uprising process. So you can do some enhancements during the process. So if you want to brighten it a little bit, you can see you can kind of move it here, and it will show you on the screen, which is great. So you can do, and it's not a lot, but a little bit of editing, saturation, contrast, whichever you want. I'm going to put this. So here's a few things that I would like. You should be able to click on these to put in a value. Everything has to be done via the slider. So I should be able to click on those and say -10 or bring it back to 0, or there should be a reset button or something like that. But it is what it is. Brightness, contrast. You can do a fill to frame. So if I wanted to do click here, you can make sure so it fills. De-interlace, and they all have a little question mark. So it's kind of a what does this do? So you, for instance, scale the input video to fill the full frame of the output video. No black bars. So it would actually. So if I was doing 16:9, for instance, if I did this, it would expand it widthwise and probably crop off the top, right? So you don't get the bars. You do have de-interlacing. Video size, so you can see I could take this and go all the way up 720, 1080, 2K, 2560, 4K, your standard 3840, or you can go to 4096, 8K. So you got lots of options. Now realize each time you punch that up, it's going to take your computer a lot more time. So we would just go here, for instance, to just standard 3840 because that's what the rest of my footage is in. And you can do a video format. So you have H.264, H.265, MKV, different containers, AVI. You do have ProRes. If you want to get it the best quality before compression, you can do ProRes. We're just going to stick it into MP4 because of this machine. It doesn't have any additional encoders inside it. And basically, like I said, you can say where you want to save it. So we can put it basically wherever. And then the other thing, here's the one thing I actually liked, because when I was doing all the kind of testing on here, a lot of my videos, of course, are a couple minutes long, or even if they're like 20 or 30 seconds, I didn't want to be spending that much time. So I can come in here and kind of move this around. And if you kind of come in here, you'll actually see it's like a spinning dial. So I could say, honestly, I just want it to go to 10 seconds and it will jump to 10 seconds. And then I could put a bracket there, right? So try that again. 10 seconds, okay. Bring this up to the 10-second mark. Put my ending. So that's all it's going to encode is from there to there. And of course, I could change the input as well and put it in and out marker. So you can do all that kind of trimming inside this. The other thing that I'll show you is that you can also do a crop. So you can do a crop in here, so crop in on the video so that it takes that piece of the video and then does the enhancement. So this one was 640, and basically once we start it, it's going from 640 to 4K, and we hit start, and basically the part that is the most important is down on the corner here. So you get an ETA, so 10 seconds of footage for the 640 is going to take about 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes to process. And that does depend, I've noticed, on the complexity of the scene. So if it's not a very complex scene where there's a lot of enhancements being done, it happens faster. If it's a more complex scene, of course, it takes longer. Now another thing that I kind of wish is here. So this little guy right here, fit model and zoom out, right? And you can even tell, maybe you can tell here, if I make this bigger, how much sharper this looks versus this. But the big one here for me is I have a 1:1 and I have a cropped. Now I can move this around, which is great, but it would be nice to say I want to, to zoom in X amount, a certain percentage, right? Maybe I want to zoom in 50% into the shot. So I would like to see that in a future as well. So this one here, as we can see, I'll just bring this down. Yeah, you're looking at, it's getting about 0.7-ish seconds per frame. So I'm going to stop this because I have this done already. We're going to show you actually right here what that difference is from the original and then the process version. Now the other thing that I found when doing this, of course, is the faster the drive that it's kind of pulling from, it does or it can actually render out quicker too. So if you're pulling from a slower drive versus pulling from a faster drive, you can see a speed enhancement there. So that was a 640. Let's go through here and look at a 720 that's been upscaled. So let me see if I can find one here. Here's a beach. So, same idea. This one is a whopping 6 seconds, but same upscale set here. And if we hit that start process, you will see that we get, let's see, once it loads, be a lot of movement on this one too, right? And we can just kind of move this around just to kind of see. And you can definitely see here now the big difference that it's making in there. So it's going from 720 up to 4K. This one is, see, this one is actually taking only 1.99 seconds per frame. So 1.96 seconds per frame. So again, this is encoding, which is nice. And what we'll do is show you the before followed by the after. Okay, so we've done 640, we've done 720. Let's pull up a 1080. That may be something that a lot of people are looking at, going from a 1080 clip. Let's see what one this is. Yeah, that's a good one, I think. So we'll pop this one. Again, this is taken from like low-end cameras, because usually that's the issue. If we have a high-end, even a high-end 1080, sometimes it's really hard to tell the difference between 1080 and 4K. But here's a shot right here. This is 4K, or sorry, 1920. You can see it at the top, 1920 by 1080. This is about 13 seconds in length, but it doesn't really matter. And we are going to do the exact same thing and see what it looks like before and after. So we look at the boats here. You can see it. Try to pull it up. And yeah, you can see where it's trying to do the sharpening. If we go into the boats, you really see that blur. Versus, and it, you know, it's funny because when you look at it this screen, you're like, well, that doesn't look right. But when you look at it back zoomed out to what it was, you wouldn't notice those little blotches, I guess they are. You just notice that it was crisper, right? So you'd see that crispness. Now, the other thing too is if you kind of come in to the railroad tracks, you can definitely see the softness here versus where the edges have had a nice enhancement, I guess it is, you know. So this one here, again, we're looking at, well, this one's kind of in between. It's 4.35 seconds. Again, this one's got a little bit more complexity in it, right? 4.35 seconds per frame. So you're looking at half an hour to do, what was it? 12 seconds, I think it was. Half an hour to do 12 seconds of video. So again, what we're going to do now, here's before, followed by after. Now this one here is also a 720p piece of footage. Right here, you can actually see it again at the top, 1280 by 720. But what we'll do here is we'll take this crop tool right here and we will tell it that it has to be 16 by 9. And we'll come in a little closer in here. Hopefully that grabs it. Little check mark. So we're going to do a zoom. And of course we're going to zoom that and do an upscale. Now, my thought is this one's going to take even longer, but process that. And we are getting, speed-wise, yeah, 0.62 seconds per frame. So again, the lower the number here, the faster it's processing, right? So 0.62 seconds per frame. So again, I think the complexity of the image adds to how long it actually takes. So because these are pretty low with complexity, this is sand, so there's a lot of, you can see it here, right? There's a lot of just dead space. It's the same color, so it doesn't have to do a lot. So we're going to process through this pretty fast. It actually says for this 10 seconds, we're looking at probably about 3 minutes. So that's not too bad. And again, here we go, before and after. Okay, this is the last one, because I did want to show you this one here. So this is actually, as you can see, this is actually a 4K piece of footage taken from my iPhone. But what I want to do here is we're going to do the face refinement. So the face refinement just adds an incredible amount of time needed to do this. So it's the only change we've done. We've set up upscale, which we probably don't need to do, but it is set to do that. Face refinement, everything else is the same. Same upscale to 4K. And we're gonna start processing here. Now, the nice thing is, again, I've done this before, you can notice some softening around the face, which is kind of nice. But even here, loading the actual model up for the before to the after, you can just see how long this process takes. It is definitely not a fast process. So we'll just kind of hang tight and wait for it to load. Again, this is only like a 10-second clip. So you're not going to want to do this if you need footage fast, right? So it's loaded up. I'll move this over. It's loaded up my face, right? I'm looking not great, but you can even see here all the detail that is in there, you know, detail in the beard, etc., etc. And in a minute, this should load up what it should look like after it starts processing. All right, I think we're getting close somewhere because it just moved it around. So it zoomed right in here. So let's go to my beard, and you can kind of see here, right? You'll see that softening happen right here. You can definitely see it in the face where it's doing this softening. Now, again, when you pop out, you do see this for sure, right? This is one that I find is actually really noticeable. Now, it's not so overdone that it looks smudgy. It definitely looks smudgy when you're zoomed in, but when you're zoomed out, it looks pretty good. And again, here's before and here's after. All right, so Mary's putting up the mesh stuff and tying the top down while I am cooking. All right, so Mary's putting up the mesh stuff and tying the top down while I am cooking. Okay, so here's the last thing that I would like to have seen, because I do like the software. I like, you know, if you have old software and you're like, oh, I wish I could get it bigger, because running it through most editors, it's not going to give you the same results as something like this, without question. You know, even moving from 720, 640 especially, up to 4K, it's going to be better running through something like this. But time is what is so important here, because they take a long time. This one here, this upscaler, right here, I think it's like 10 seconds. I think, yeah, it's 40 seconds. 40. Remember the other ones were like 0.6 of a second, 0.9 of a second. This is 40 seconds per frame. So this 10-second-ish frame or 10-second-ish video is going to be over 5 hours. So here's the one piece that I wish that the developers incorporate somehow, please. Set up a queue so I can take 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of footage and be like, I want this done to this one, I want this done to this one, this done to this one, this done to this one. Load them in queue, batch file, let them run. And if they have to run for 12 hours, let them run for 12 hours. But you don't have to come back every half hour, every hour to load up a new one. You can just let them go. So I think that would be really important because it's not there. The other thing that I would like to see, and I want you guys just to see this real fast. And again, this is on an M1 MacBook Pro. If you look up here, my CPU usage, it's really, really low. So I'd like to see them somehow start to utilize more of that CPU. Now, I don't know how much of the GPU it's using, but I really would like them to start utilizing all the power that's available in this machine. And I hope to see that in a future update of this software. Other than that, you know what, for those of us that have one-ofs, you know, a couple videos that we need to up-res because we couldn't get high-res versions of them, the monthly package I think is really great, especially if we can incorporate that fee into our billing for our clients. Not bad, right? Also, if it is something that you're going to do a lot, then just get the $300 package and be done with it. Last but not least, they do have a trial for both Mac and Windows. I believe that trial does come with a watermark, so just be aware. Other than that, very, very cool piece of software. All right, guys, I will leave a link down below to AVCLabs so you can look at their video enhancer AI as well as their photo enhancer AI if that's something that you're interested in. All right, my friends, that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.